All right. Hello, everyone. We are live. If you are joining us here on LinkedIn or you are joining us on YouTube or Facebook, it's so nice to have you with us today. For anyone that's new to us, my name is Brittany Cantor Barb. I'm an executive coach and consultant, and I work with senior women in the workplace to help you build careers that bring you joy, meaning, and a hell of a lot more money than you ever thought possible. And so it seemed fitting to have the wonderful Judith Costa with us today. And we are going to be talking about the power around self-love. So I promise you, this is not something you've heard before. And with that being said, Judith, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm so happy to be here with you all today, and thank you for joining us. And I'm a passionate student of love. And what I have discovered is there is something that really can transform our lives. It transformed mine for sure. That it's this unconditional self love that we have to build for ourselves. Maybe it's not something that comes naturally for you, but it's something that for sure we can cultivate. And I work with mostly women, but some men too, on doing that, on learning how to be your best friend instead of abandoning yourself and just going against yourself. We tend to do that sometimes. Forget
Absolutely.
we have to support ourselves, and
Oh
we
my
make
goodness.
choices that are not good for us. But it's fine. It's fine. We can learn from that.
Oh, Judith, yeah. And to everyone, if you're joining us, go ahead and drop in the comments where you're joining us from. Let us know. We'd love to know where you're at in the country today. And we will be taking questions. So, any questions that you have, go ahead and drop those in. Even if you have to drop from the live, we're going to do our best to get through all of those. But Judith, today, as you know, we are wanting to bring this whole concept and this whole idea around self-love, and specifically for women in corporate, women that are dominating in the workplace. From being there for many years myself, and you as well, we know that that is, as much as we like to say, not something that's easy to do. And there's so many reasons, why that comes from. But I would love for us to just have it, an open discussion, really an open letter to women everywhere that are struggling with this is, why do you think the whole concept of self-love is such a challenge for women in general, but then too, to add that whole other layer to it of women in the workplace?
Yeah, I think it's especially difficult to keep a good level of self love because we have other priorities. It seems that we have to be productive. We have many different roles. We wear different hats, and we think that we will love ourselves when we will have time, and there is never time for that. And when you confuse something that should be the reason why you are working so hard in order to become happier, more fulfilled, more connected, independently of the money. The money is the result, the energy that comes out of all of this. And we start taking the other route, the route of working harder, not having time, suffering through it, and being disconnected and burned out. Then we have to just take the path towards ourselves again. And I think that one of the comments that I have heard more frequently of executive women is that they feel that they don't have a choice. They have to perform, they have to do the things that they are being asked. And let me tell you that that's not true. You are so powerful, powerful beyond measure. And it's not so complicated to take care of yourself. When you understand that loving yourself is just being there for you, to becoming aware of your needs, you will gain power. You are not going to lose time. You are going to invest in yourself. And this is going to give you access to a different level, a level when you can be in a state of flow and where you can be fully connected. You know, when you have a deadline and suddenly all these ideas came to you last minute and you feel so productive and things work, then this is working under stress. What if we have a technique called loving yourself more to do the same but in a way that you can achieve even more than before and feeling wonderful about it.
Oh, Judith, I mean, I think so many listening, and I know even myself were, back in those times, is like, that sounds amazing, but, right? Or I know what I should do, but, or I have, I know it's, if I'm not making time for myself, I'm not going to be any good to others, but, right? I mean, we always seem to really throw these things in our way. And I think at least how it showed up a lot for me in my corporate career is, being a woman, trying to be everything to everyone all the time and always putting yourself at the very bottom of that list really started to show up in the workplace, right? And I think the whole concept around self-love and business don't necessarily initially go hand in hand. But how is it that if you're not spending the time to actually care for yourself, actually love yourself, how is this showing up for women in corporate and women that are building businesses? And let's be honest, really sabotaging that.
Yeah, no, the lack of self-love have consequences in the long term, very, very visible, but also in the short term. What we are talking here is not about this idea of self-care, like uh, making time for a vacation, a day off, a massage, a treatment, a nice lunch with a friend. I am talking about a deeper understanding of what means being there for you. It's the way you think about yourself. What are the choices that you make? How you handle your life and your responsibilities? How you like yourself and appreciate yourself? How you celebrate your life every day? How you think that you have everything you need and more to accomplish and to go after your dreams? Then it's more about that the opinion that we have about ourselves is what sabotage our lives. And then we make a choice, and sometimes it's unconscious that it's, I'm going to do it no matter what. But we do it by putting a lot of effort, and this has consequences in health, has consequences in our relationships because we don't have time for anyone, not for us, for anyone. We are not really present. We are so stressed out that we cannot hold the space for others. Love is being present for others. It's not just saying I love you. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you feel disconnected from life. And everything that you have on top of yourself that you have to do, because you're very responsible, you do it. But you do it trying to put more of you. When you don't recharge your own batteries and you do it for a certain period of time, then your health gets resented. Like your adrenals, you are working out of this stress, your hormones, um, the hair, not the gray hair, but how it looks like, your skin, your smile. People like those that have this kind of energy around themselves, that they feel good. They feel good about themselves and their lives. Then those people are the ones that receive more opportunities, that go further in their careers. And it's not about maybe they are more intelligent or wiser than you. It's because they have a sense that the most important is life, and they don't self-sacrifice themselves in the intent of achieving more.
No,
And
dude, it's so funny that you say that because I remember especially in my career, were the times that I like absolutely dominated, right? The times that I walked into that boardroom and owned my space whenever I'd asked for promotion and got the promotion on all of those things. It was essentially when I took the result out of the intent. So basically, the less fucks that I gave, the better that I became with that. And what I didn't know at the time, that was very much a form of self-love, because I would go in there, I would do all my research, I would do everything that I could. And then if I didn't get the result, well, that wasn't on me, right? I mean, because there's only so many things that you can control. But now really embracing this, right? Especially as women, we're very results oriented. We're very, very stingy with our time, right? Because many of us are mothers, we're daughters, we're sisters. We're like, you're doing everything. And so the whole idea of like, wait a minute, I'm going to invest all this and I may not get the result I want. And like, oh yeah, but that's the beauty of that, right? It is literally to test it out, because you have two options. You either plow forward or you let fear stand in the way. And for me, that was very much a form of self-love that I didn't even notice at the time.
No, thank you for sharing this and congratulations, because it's a big realization. This is an aha moment. When you understand that you cannot control life, that you have to live life. And how many of us go there, like trying to see what is happening around us in perpetual state of stress about what can go wrong, without really perceiving what is going well and celebrating that and being open to receive more of that. Then it's your energy really what manages your life. It's not here, this energy is in the heart, is in what you feel about yourself. When you have to really support yourself, it's when things are not going well. When everything is wonderful, it's fantastic. Yeah, I love myself so much. Yeah, sure. But what when you are, yeah, exactly in that meeting and you can just drop it? Just be there, be yourself. You are prepared. Just show up and do what you know. And that's it. You have to be your cheerleader. You have to be your fan number one. And we tend to look for external validation out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you make a good point, Judith, about the external validation and that being tied to self-love. I think for women, and specifically, we've grown up, right, literally since we were little girls, regardless of where you grew up on the planet, typically, is to really rely on validation. So I know a lot of times with the women that are in my programs, and a lot of the women I spoke to, and even myself back when I was in corporate, is, when things aren't going well, because you made that point, right? When shit's really hitting the fan, so to speak, and everything's outside your control. And then a lot of women I know that I'm speaking to recently are leaving really toxic work environments, right? And so the whole concept of self-love seems like so far away, right? Right now they're essentially healing from trauma in
Yeah.
many ways in a toxic. And then, and I know a lot of the work that you do is, when people do, fall down on hard times, how they can use self-love to stop beating themselves up. Oh, I should have done this. I could have done that. Well, hell yeah. I mean, any of us can go back. But what advice would you give today? And apologies, Judith, I know this wasn't on our initial, we're kind of ripping this part of it for everyone out there, just a bright idea that I had. But what advice would you give women today that have recently came out of a toxic work environment or stuck in a toxic work environment right now because of golden handcuffs, of how they can harness the power of self-love right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. And this is about believing in yourself and trust in the universe. As you said, it's very easy to judge yourself, and we do it constantly, and criticizing ourselves. But we have to start making a shift. Like, use your mind to support yourself and not to go against yourself. You when you go to the gym, you train. Then you can take your mind to the gym as well. And show the mind a different perspective. I mean, remember that you are the boss. You don't have to believe everything you think. Then one of the results of going through a traumatic experience and maybe having to leave the place where you were with the consequences of it is that you feel bad about yourself. Let it go. Forgive yourself for any so-called mistake that you think that you made. It's very easy to judge yourself like from this perspective, but don't even go there. Understand that you did the best you could with the circumstances that you were facing, and be a little bit more compassionate with yourself. Self-love is a super big concept. It's not just we were saying like self-esteem, self-care, self-expression. No, it's also being nice to yourself, the way you talk to yourself, being honest. When you know that you can change things, just say it and do it, but don't torture yourself about the changes that you have to make. Then the understanding that you deserve has to come from you. And sometimes when we go through these periods of external validation, it's because we feel bad about ourselves. And this is something that we first need to fix. Like, this is who I am. Honor that. This is me. And this is the whole package. But what
Yeah.
we tend to do, especially in the workplace, is we put a facade, very nice, and we go there then again, people that succeed, if you look, one of the qualities that they have is that they know how to be authentically themselves.
Oh, Judith, I love that. And that's so true because if you really like, I want to challenge everyone that's watching whatever platform that you're joining us from, go ahead and drop in the comments like who is that person? Like you think of that leader that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt you have respect for. I mean, that this is someone you would and love to follow in their footsteps. And anyone that you've came across, 9 times out of 10, they're showing you the real, the raw, the messy. They're
Yeah.
being so authentic. Yeah, drop the name of that person in the chat, wherever you're joining us from, like who that is, right? Or even if you don't want to say it out loud, just say, yeah, I've had that leader. Because I think so many of us, at least I did it, I remember it, and Judith, you may as well, is I really idolized leaders for a long time. Like I would put them on a pedestal and I would think, oh, they do no wrong. I'm like, well, no, what makes them incredible is because they've done so much wrong in their career. Like they've messed up so much and they've learned from that. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, one of the things when you were talking that came to my mind immediately in my first session of the coaching program, one of the things that we were learning is that we are all leaders. And it's true, we put in pedestals people that we believe that they are so good, but you will never know what is inside of this person. You will never know what is the path, what this person has gone through. But you have to put yourself in the pedestal as well. You have to know that you're a leader. You're a leader as a mom, as an executive, and with your friends. And a leader is this person that can take out the best in others. Then we are so used to leaders that just tell us what to do. And yes, empower us a little bit. But for me, a real leader is this person that not only respects you, that gives you room for growth. And this is part of loving yourself, looking for these figures. If you're in a space where you don't feel recognized, you don't feel seen, you don't feel value, don't take it on your own, like it's my fault. Go to find home, like in the workplace, in a different space. Loving yourself is that. Making the choices to be sure that you are in the relationship and in the space and doing those things that really reflect this love that you say you want to bring. Then I have been in the presence of leaders, and you can easily recognize them because they have this kind of like brilliant light around themselves. They are usually humble people, and they love others. They like others. They like life. They are connected. They are engaged. They they have this strength, this energy that you say, I want to be with you. I want to be like you. Like, show me how to do it. And they do. They can do that for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Judith. And you bring up a good point. Like, I think a lot of us do this whole judgment thing where we see these leaders, right? And we've thought about them and we see how magnetic they are. We see like, oh, they just seem to have it perfectly. And then we start comparing, which makes the whole negative self-talk like rabbit hole even worse. So let's give everybody listening today, because this is not something like you're going to walk away tomorrow and there's some magic pill that Judith and I are going to give you today if you just click in the comments, right, for $9.95 or let, none of that. Like this is something that this is just to start giving you an idea of start wrapping your mind around it. So one way that I've noticed a lot of people deviate from this and they struggle with it is the negative self-talk turns on, right? That I should have, I would have, if I was only this enough, if I was only that enough. What advice can you give someone to a tactic they can use today, right now, if they are in that they start spinning out and saying, I wish I'd done more, I'm not good enough? What's something they can do to break that as soon as it happens?
Yeah, I'm going to say first, I understand you. I have been there. And I am very analytical, and I have plenty of clients that have this challenge as well. Then, first of all, start looking at the conversation that happens inside of your mind. Awareness is the key for transformation. If you don't know how are you treating yourself, it's difficult that you change it. And I'm not saying, yeah, sometimes I'm judgmental. No, I want the sentences. I want that you take a piece of paper and start writing. Like, this is the way I address this thing. This is what I think about myself. Like, just be honest, be brutally honest. And and have this information. When you have this information, remember I told you, like, you don't have to believe everything your mind tells you, because for sure might not be true. It's just the product of patterns that you may carry from different moments in time, things that you have experienced, even your education, things that your parents, that other authority figures have told you. Then let's see at this material. Is this your voice? Are these things that you really think about yourself, or is just the same voice repeating like again and again and again these messages? Then we will identify where are the things. Like, you can do it on your own, or you can do it with a professional, it doesn't matter, or sit with a friend and have a conversation about this. Identify those things that you want to change, and really have like in two columns. Like, for example, I don't believe I am capable. When this thought comes into my mind, I'm going to be prepared, and I'm going to have a loving thought. I am powerful beyond measure. I know I can do it. Go to this place inside of yourself where you have proofs that you have been in situations like this and that you can succeed. Like, but have this process kind of ready. And when the thought attacks, instead of just feeling like, oh, it got me,
Yeah.
be sure that you have a strategy. Self-love is a journey, as you mentioned, and this is not going to happen in one day, because how much time you have been talking to you like this, and many for a long time. But it's like when you are listening the radio in the car and there's a song that you don't like, what you do, you change the station or you move to the next song. Then the same happens with our thoughts. If you don't fight with them, if you don't engage them, if you allow them to just pass like there are clouds, oh yeah, this is this voice, this mean voice that I have, this self-saboteur like inside of myself telling me that I'm not good enough. Yes, I am good enough, but you don't fight with it. Allow it to pass. It's okay, it's the voice, it's fine, I understand. And then it loses its energy. Instead of being more powerful, it loses energy, because you are building new neural paths. When you focus in different things that are good for you, that you can do, that you are capable, with all these positive emotions, appreciation, gratitude for what you have, this kindness, this compassion, you build in your brain new ways of thinking, and then the old way kind of decrease, and you can really start focusing on a new relationship with yourself. Don't tell
Oh,
yourself, yeah, those things that you won't tell someone you love. Just don't. Say cancel
oh,
and say something nice. That's it. Seems
oh.
simple, but it requires awareness. It requires to be looking at yourself, observing yourself from outside.
Oh, Judith, I love that. And I love, love, love the example that you gave. And I don't think it's one that I've heard or haven't heard in a long time, at least, about if you're in your car and all of a sudden a song comes on you don't like, you don't sit there, right, listening to what feels like nails on a chalkboard because you don't like the song. You simply go next, right? Or you turn the channel. And I really love that metaphor and how we should do that with our own thoughts. Like, I think so many of us, we beat ourselves up of like, why does this thought even exist, right? Or and even use that as a form of negative self-talk. But I think it's around normalizing that absolutely these thoughts are going to creep in. We've got generations of societal conditioning, a lot of what people suffering from traumas, even toxic workplaces, all these things, and an entire society telling you more than enough of what you're doing wrong. The last thing that you need is to allow yourself to do that. So I love that. And I think that just that visualization for folks, I want everyone to really remember what Judah said there. Like, if you see that, you hear that come in your head, right? Label it objectively, be aware of it, like you said, but then literally envision yourself turning on the next song, right? And not going to yet another self-sabotaging song, something that's upbeat, that makes you feel like the powerful badass that you are. Oh,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love that.
Let me give you another visual. Now, when you were talking, I came with another idea. Usually, thoughts are connected. Like, you start thinking, oh, I'm not going to do it well. And then I'm a disaster and my life is terrible. And, like, you pass from something that can go wrong to I'm going to be fired. Then, when these thoughts come, imagine that you are in a station and the train of thoughts come and the doors are open. then are you going to remain in the station and control the situation? You are the boss. You are the owner of your thoughts. You are the one that can put a dot after the thought and say, okay, thank you so much. I hear you. You can leave me now. If you enter in the train, what happens is that this train of the thought takes you wherever it goes, but without you deciding. Then, such a powerful woman you are, know that you can do the same. Your mind doesn't run in autopilot unless you allow it. When you have these thoughts, like kind of obsessive, one thing taken to another, and you feel like you are going to a different place where you don't want to be, just don't take the train. Remain in the station. Take a deep breath. Be calm. Be centered. Give yourself a hack if possible. And just know that, yes, you have moments of vulnerability, moments of doubt. It's okay. You are human. Give yourself permission to be human. But
Oh,
come back to the here and now.
Judith, I love that. We do very much in, our power formula of commanding, demanding, and landing our power. And the very first step is just that, right? Of being, hey, this is why this thought exists. This is why this limiting belief exists in my mind. Thank you. Just like you said, thanks for serving me. Thanks for letting me know this is where it's at. Now you can run along. Right? Then we don't have to do that. And then the power that you do have in your own thoughts, right? Just because something comes in, and I think many of us get to this point that we feel helpless, right? And we try all the meditation, we try all the mindfulness, we try all the gratitude list. And then many times we just end up back in that rut. And what I'm seeing as a common trend for many, especially executive women in corporate, is it's because you go right back down into that rabbit hole of this is what I should be. Well, who says? Right? Is that who you really want to be? And just that whole self-sabotage around that.
Exactly that. I mean, thank you. Thank you. It should be underlined and in capital letters. Why you have to live your life with this self-pressure?
Yeah.
Like take a break, but from yourself. Usually we feel that we have to do things for the rest of people, but we are the ones, we are our own boss. We are the ones that put the pressure in there. We don't deserve that.
Yeah. Judith, so it sounds to me like the takeaways as we wrap up here for everyone is one, right? The power of self-love is just abundant, right? And it's not something that's nice to have, or you should practice this, or anything to do with self-care. One, just really wrapping our minds around what self-love is. Two, using the tactics, right? Especially the visualization, right? On the two strategies that you gave today. But then three, what kind of results? Like, what if I was someone and I just started practicing self-love today and I go down this journey, what kind of results am I going to get out of this? Because this is not super easy work to do, right? I mean, it's transformational and it takes time.
I'm going to challenge you. What it's not easier is to remain in the same place.
Oh yeah, but that place is comfortable, Judith. You and I know this, but let's speak to like our folks today.
It's really uncomfortable. When you are your enemy, you live a hell of a life, but you convince yourself that everything is okay. Then loving yourself is not complicated. It just requires commitment. It's a decision that you make every day. When you put the feet on the floor, you decide that you are going to love yourself no matter what. Nothing has to change really to start loving yourself. We think that, if I do this and this and this and this, then I will love myself. No, just the decision is good enough. If today, after listening to us, you just make the commitment that you want to be there, that you are going to do it even for 30 minutes, it's good enough. Then results in every area of your life. You will see your relationship transforms in any area, like with children. The more you love yourself, the more you are able to be patient, to be loving with them, to be more understanding, to take out the best of them like good leaders do, and to be there for them, to listen between their words, to meet them with the same with your partner. If you are in a relationship where you don't feel good about the relationship, you can find the strength to do something about it or to leave if it's necessary. And the same happens in the workplace. As I say, the level of abundance of someone that really love himself or herself, no matter what, is shown in the choices that she makes and in the environment where she lives. There is a an easy flow about life. We can do the same activities during the day. One person that loves herself and one person that doesn't. But how enjoyable is going to be the day of the person that loves herself? Less pressure, more calmness, more smiles, more satisfaction, more fulfillment, more connection, more help from others, more being centered, less headaches. Uh, then should I continue? It's around everything that you do that you get the benefits, and how you rest, how you choose, what you do with your life, how you go after the things that are important for you.
Oh, no, Judith, I think we could go on forever, but I know we're literally just down to 60 seconds left now. So I'd love for everybody. So if Judith, where people are wanting to explore this around self-love, right? Regardless if they're in the corporate work environment or not, where can they go to learn more about you?
The easy way is to go to my website, judithmcosta.com. They have a contact form there with email, phone. You can follow me, of course, in all social media channels. But send me an email if you are ready for taking this commitment and you feel you need help. I'll be there for you. I'll take you by the hand and we'll do it together.
Wonderful. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Another link on Power Live. If you're liking what we're bringing you each and every week, either on the podcast, here on the social media platforms, do us a favor. Simply follow along so you never miss another time when we're going live to help you every day, bring you the quick and dirty, the real, the raw, the messy on how you too can build a career that brings you joy, meaning, and a hell of a lot more money than you ever thought possible. Until next week, my friends.
Thank you. Lots of love.